Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Hey, Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are in the Anchorage, the newest Tier 7 rental ship available right now in the store, of course. If you guys did not see my video yesterday, Wargaming added 4 ships available for rental. They do cost 1,000 doubloons, and this is kind of where I had a little bit of a problem with it. I think they should cost silver personally. I understand Wargaming's point of view. They don't want everyone in these ships. But at the same time, doubloons is a touch much for me. But regardless, we went ahead and bought it, mainly because the Anchorage looks like it's going to be an absolute beast in this game, exemplifies that. You guys know I am American heavy cruiser boy, and an American heavy cruiser with 12 guns, smoke, hydro, torpedoes, and just those devastating 203s at Tier 7. Well, I don't think the ship is going to get released, as is. Honestly, if they gave it a touch more health and moved it up to Tier 8 and maybe a little bit more maneuverability or, acceleration, I think it would be pretty good at the tier. But regardless of what tier it is or should be, we're at Tier 7 here, and we have this game on Trident. You guys know that American heavy cruisers usually have the 27mm bow, so what we're doing is we're working our way near this cap. Everybody look out now, Aaron is becoming a man. No, but if you understand the game, you know that the American heavy cruisers or heavy cruisers with the appropriate bow and island cover can do this. We have a Riga out there on the flank, and that is when this USS Black pops up. We just mentioned the Riga out there on the flank. If he did not take that flanking position, I was honestly going to. We have torpedoes which go, I think, 10.2 kilometers. I will show you guys, of course, the stats and commander I was running at the end of the game. And here is when that Riga comes in not so clutch. I'm sitting in perfect position here to radar this guy, but I can't just sit here. Why? Because there's a Massachusetts coming around the corner. We have an Azuma going out on the flank. And this USS Black does have a radar, so if he wants, there it is, he can pop it, and I will, he will be undetected to me, sitting here trying to wait for this Riga to finally radar. He does, and that is when he pops around the corner. And let's just say that he should have radared just a touch earlier. Now, I understand him wanting to wait to get a shot on the ship, but when I have a full shot, on the USS Black, it's one of those things where he's probably played with poor teammates before, but he pops around that corner and yeah, he gets dev struck. So he could have radared a touch sooner, and we potentially could have gotten a lot more off of that USS Black. But considering the USS Black's concealment, I just want to pop out of my smoke screen here. Why? Because I think he does not have the best concealment, and there it is. Now, we did also have a friendly teammate, Mr. Hysterectomy. I've seen his name before. It's kind of a funny name. Pop around this corner, and he is going to go ahead and take care of that USS Black. So a fair play to our teammates. They got the only destroyer off the board. That is a huge threat. Unfortunately, Mr. Friesland there gets caught by the Massachusetts. So our team is now down early. He did get the B cap, however, so props to him for doing his job. It didn't necessarily, probably work out the way he wanted, but he got the cap and he killed the only, other destroyer. So all things considered, I'd give him a B plus in that regard. But we really don't have time to think about it in-game because we have a Massachusetts bearing down on us. We did mention the 27mm bow. You also have a decent 27mm casemate. Unfortunately, the Massachusetts has 406s, and again, if you know anything about this game, you know that they can overmatch every part of your boat, basically, except for a small Citadel belt. We will go over that armor viewer, so that way you guys can see that. But yeah, this is one of those balancing factors for that ship. Thankfully, though, we have our smoke screen here, which allowed us to get a little bit of this broadside turn off. On top of that, we have some battleship support. We go ahead and launch the torpedoes. We don't really expect to hit these, but again, they're just zoning torps. Battleships making turns like that, especially with how slow your torps are, you're not going to be making guesses at long range. So some people are going to want to play this like the Japanese cruisers and make them torpedo boats. That is not how you play the ship. Thankfully, this Massachusetts overturned a bit. We connect one torp on his belt there, but it doesn't matter because we get a few overpens on his superstructure, and that is when the entire enemy team decides to light me up. I make a little mistake here burning my heel. I should have just put out that fire. or just pop the heal and not put out the fire. You never really want to pop both, especially in a cruiser, but we go ahead and pop it. The heal, you don't have a great heal regardless, but yeah, popping them both there is a touch of a mistake. As you guys can see, though, a majority of the enemy fleet is on our flank, so what we're doing is we're playing defensive, right? You can't rush in there and gung-ho it like a man and just die. It's not the smart thing to do. You will also notice that our team has a strong presence on sea. So, again, what we're going to do is just let the enemy come to us. We have the B cap, and we're tied on ships, so there's no reason to give up the position we have on this flank here, right? We've got a battleship next to us, we've got a cruiser in the middle, and we've got 3 ships on the sea side. What we've talked about, guys, is reading the minimap. In this situation, a lot of those, probably a few of those ships that are at A are going to start working their way back towards B. And as soon as we say that, the B cap starts to tick. And guys, don't worry, I know this is a little bit of a slow part in the video, but trust me, if you saw the clickbait and the thumbnail there, this game gets very interesting, and these torpedoes come in very clutch. But basically what we're doing is we're setting up this trap here, right? We know that those ships are working their way back towards B. If not, they're probably working their way, towards A. Rushing into these situations blind without thinking about it is just not the way to do things. But there we can see the Anchorage is at B, so we're going to mark that for our team. Hopefully they can get a few resets. If you guys look at the scoreboard, they did just lose a battleship, which is a 100-point swing, but we basically have a 200-point advantage because of that, the loss of that battleship, but also because we have had that B cap from the beginning. Getting those capture points are so essential, and keeping them, of course, for the points win. But here we have backed up into position near A, and that Scharnhorst has worked his way in. Unfortunately, we don't have the best spots, but because of his smoke firing penalty, battleships don't necessarily realize that. As soon as he shoots, he will be spotted. So what we're going to do is just sit in our smoke here and garner defend ribbons. Unfortunately, we go a touch too fast out of our smoke, and we probably should have popped that cruiser, especially because he was slightly angled. These 203s on slightly angled cruisers that is the shot you want. Here, though, I wanted the full deletion. Unfortunately, the North Carolina there gets a huge chunk, and we actually get trolled with 8 overpens, only 1 Citadel. You gotta love it when you catch a ship completely broadside at the perfect range for medium caliber guns, and you just get overpens. You gotta love this game. But we get the Citadel and the finishing touch there to get us kicking into kill number 2 there. On top of that, we have torpedoes on the way, and our team has done a fantastic job of cleaning up that flank. And I know you guys are saying, wait, Aaron, didn't you get, so much damage and all this XP? And guys, it's coming, and it really shows the strength of this ship. We actually get a torpedo to connect there, and I thought it was on the Scharnhorst, but actually it was on the other Helena in that cap. We also have an Azuma out there on our flank, and that is why we are still angled, right, and not just sitting here broadside. You can see me ever so slightly touching the rudder here and there. So there is that Helena who took a chunk of damage, and honestly, it probably should have done more. These torpedoes do a lot of damage, and that is when the Azuma pops up. There he is, setting up that crossfire, and that is why we have maintained our angle. He does shoot the AP, so if we would have been completely broadside or he would have caught us, not throttle jockeying, we could have been potentially deleted. We're actually, if I'm being honest, we're not at the best angle, but because we were paying attention to that, right, we popped the rudder or the throttle forward, and that way he missed a bunch of those shots. We go ahead and throw another set of torpedoes just kind of in the zone of those ships, and that is when the Helena pops up, and we finally get a somewhat of deletion that we were looking for. Good night, thanks for playing. 2 Citadels there, not the full deletion, but you take what you can get, right? We wish we didn't hit that torpedo. No, I'm just kidding. I always love when I hit torpedoes there. If you guys are tracking this, we've already hit 2. I know this is turning out to be quite the game for Aaron. And if you also notice, that Scharnhorst is going right in the direction of our other zone torpedoes, which is why zone torpedoes are so much fun, right? Because you just throw them out there, not expecting them to hit, and when they do, it is the best feeling on earth. You can see my reaction there on stream. I also was trying to get the shot off. This ship does not have the best reload. We are running basically a full reload build, and it still has an 11.6 or 11.2 second reload. But we get the finishing touch. It was actually the flood, not the shot. Our teammates were trying to steal that one. Those dirty kill stealers. No, I'm just kidding. There's no such thing as a kill steal in this game. But if you guys will notice, we are on kill number 4, and we're going to try and get this 5th one. It looks like this Azuma was trying to ram. I was initially going to do the drive-by left. We are going to try and shoot him with guns, but you do have access, of course, to your torpedoes, so why not use them? A ram would have gotten us the same goal here, but fortunately, our right side torpedoes just reload as it looks like the Zuma is going for the ram, and we do connect them because he turns into them, getting the Kraken, Dev Strike, and Confederate all in one kill and one medal. A huge game for the Anchorage. Kraken-worthy ship. This thing is absolutely disgusting. This and the Hampshire, or the Hampton, whatever the British cruiser is, are actually a lot of fun. But there it is, 3791 in our 5th game in the Anchorage. I think I have like a 2500 XP average in this ship. You guys know I am the American heavy cruiser expert, so this is, was to be expected, and there we have our on-stream face. But let's go ahead and take a look at the stats of this ship. Survivability 41,800. It's decent for the tier. We will go over the armor a little bit later on. The guns, though, this is a huge selling point. 4x3 203s, 12 203mm guns, 11.4 reload, so not the best reload, but that is, of course, a balancing factor. Here's another huge selling point, 2x4 torpedoes. You saw them in action there. 19,000 top damage, 10.5, okay, so not 10.2, 10.5 kilometer range with a 66 knot speed. The AA defense is merely average, although we were kind of focused earlier on in this stream, and we did get a decent amount of plane kills. Maneuverability is not the best, as well as the propulsion. The propulsion needs a little bit of work, and your concealment is decent at the tier there. Here's the armor and kind of what we were talking about. All that yellow is 27mm plating. So if you know anything about overmatch mechanics in this game, you can get overmatched at pretty much every angle. You do have a slightly minimized citadel, so you're going to have to hit the middle of the ship. It doesn't extend to the turrets there, at least, above water. But that 27, again, talking about that overmatch, they can go right through your nose and right through your side plating there. If you shoot with a 406 or above at that angle, it's going to go right through and right to the citadel if you don't, aim too high. So a huge balancing factor for this ship, but it does have the smoke and, of course, that 27. So this ship is going to be dangerous for anything other than, concealment destroyers and or battleships with 406mm guns. Unless, of course, you sit broadside. Here's the commander we were running, Mr. Einstein. It hasn't changed from any of my Baltimore, Salem, or it's the same commander we run on all of our American heavies. The absolute best build. Ingenious, intuitive, punch through, fixated, refill station with Mimbelli and Madden fully maxed out for a full DPM build there. You can run other builds, but the proof is in the pudding here. We also have the reload mod, and with that reload mod, we talked about the reload. It's not the best, 11.4, so if you don't have everything maxed out, and with refill station, the reload is like a base 16 seconds. So you're going to want to position well and put a little bit something into that reload. But if you guys don't know how to get the ships, they are available in the ships tab here in the store. You have to go all the way over for the ships for test, and the only one we have not rented yet is the Vallejo. So you have to pay 1,000 doubloons, and you get them for a week. You also get a coupon for 1,000 doubloons off of whatever ship and nation class that is. So for the Anchorage, I think it's an American heavy cruiser or American cruiser. So Wargaming did give us a nice little, I guess, back end token for that, but you still have to spend money in order to use that little discount there. But guys, that is the Anchorage. Let me know what you guys thought of that. I absolutely love this ship. And we have a bunch more videos coming out. We've got some Hampshire gameplay. The Heisen is actually a pretty fun battleship. I really enjoy that one. And I will eventually play the Vallejo, even though it is basically just a down-tiered Worcester. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to rent these ships? Is that ship too strong? Should it be moved to tier 8? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I love you guys. Have a great day. Go out and attack the day. Hey, run out. Peace.